Welcome once again to our educational channel, in which we're looking at different concepts in the media fraternity, especially in the core training of journalism. We are still continuing with media and communications policy, and today I'll take you through chapter 2, which looks mainly about the principles of regulation. Every country has a law dealing with regulation, control, and investigation. However, the nature of broadcast regulations vary from country to country. The idea of process of regulation or regulating broadcast began with the constitution of the country concerned. A policy regarding broadcasting regulation should be based on the constitution. Regulation of broadcast in any country is meant to achieve efficiency and productivity. Now, if you're going to look through the flow of formation of regulation in the broadcast arena, you would want to look at 1. It must come from the constitution. Number 2, a policy formulated within the frameworks of the constitution. And after the policy formation, a regulation is developed from the policy. And then an establishment of a regulator, which is the extreme authority in this context. Then we go to the establishment of radio and TV broadcasting. In a democratic environment, there are basically 4 principles relating to government responsibility. 1 is the editorial control. The content of the print and broadcast should be in the hands of professional bodies and not government. When government puts in limitations on the content of the media, we strongly question the motives and purpose for taking such an action. Principle number 2, government should encourage access to radio and TV, i.e., the ability to reach any willing recipient willing to pay the economic cost of doing so. Ensuring access requires expanding opportunity and averting limitations of monopoly. Government policies should encourage adversity of radio and television stations. In this context, item number 4, we are saying government should not promote any of the principles of the detriment or creating loss or damage of the remaining principles. The role of the government in the regulation or regulating broadcasting should exclude control of content, reduce various access, and prevent monopoly. In so doing, government would be facilitating effective competition amongst editors of diverse ideology and thus fostering access to a competitive point of view when it comes to times of discussion. We look at the weaknesses of broadcasting regulatory authorities. 1. The appointment to the authority are politically motivated and do not reflect the policies needed to guide the regulation of radio and TV cables. Number 2, decisions are made without public involvement. Number 3, decisions are made under pressure from the broadcast industry, government, or trade unions. Decisions are made with inadequate or based on information which is limited in context. Most regulatory authorities are bureaucratic in nature, especially when it comes to problem solving. Unreasonable delays in resolving problems, often synonymous with government and government agencies and departments. There is an inability to plan. Sometimes the regulatory authority seems incapable of innovating solutions or delaying in weaknesses with the regulation. It could be that the authority lacks longer-term planning or sometimes even marred by incompetent management. The other point is that decisions are made without consideration of precedent in reaching a decision. The regulatory body can ignore the past decisions, resulting into inconsistency. The regulatory body ignores its own policy. Often, the authority will not follow its own guidelines and review or issue licenses without fully investigating the circumstances surrounding the applicant, which is extremely deadly, especially when it comes to the times of formation of other media houses, which ought to have been investigated to understand why they come into existence and also promote their efficiency. Thank you very much. Now that you're still with us in our training on media and communications policy, this is chapter 2, and we now look at the broadcast regulations in Uganda. There has been a significant progress in the performance of Uganda's media since 1986 in educating, informing, entertaining, and mobilization of masses. This attributed to the existing conducive political environment that sanctions reasonable press freedom. For nearly 4 decades, Uganda's airwaves had been dominated by Radio Uganda and Uganda Television. However, for the first time in Uganda's media industry, the airwaves were liberalized in 1993, which effect brought the end of the monopoly of state-owned radio and UTV. Private broadcasting in a new phenomenon came on board in Uganda and today continues to register an increase in number. The rise in number of media organizations has consequently influenced the enactment of several media regulations and the regulatory bodies, which include, among others, the Press and Journalism Statute of 1995, the Electronic Media Statute of 1996, the Analysis, the Panel Code of the Media in Uganda, the Information Act of 1997, the Press and Journalism Statute of 1995 is drafted to ensure that the freedom of the press is not violated. It was to provide a council responsible for regulating of mass media to establish and repeal the Newspaper and Publications Act and Press Censorship and Collections Act. The Electronic Media Statute was designed to provide the setting up of Broadcasting Council, the license and regulation of TV stations, provide for the licensing of TV sets, to amend and consolidate the law relating to electronic media, to amend the Uganda Post and Telecommunications Act, to repeal the Cinematography and TV Licenses Act, and provide for other related matters. The Ugandan Constitutional Act of 1997 was passed by Parliament, and this consequently led to the establishment of Uganda Communications Commission. It was established to ensure smooth operation of broadcasting industry in Uganda, but it appears regulation is fragmentally handled. This is because different authorities are concerned with different units of broadcasting in the media industry. We examine the Broadcasting Council. The Broadcasting Council is under the Department of Information Office of the President. It was established under Section 10 of the Electronic Media Statute of 1996. The functions of the Broadcasting Council include to coordinate and exercise control over and supervise broadcasting series, to be responsible for standardization, planning and management of frequency spectrum resources in such a manner as to ensure the widest possible variety of programming and optimum utilization of these spectrum resources. To coordinate communication on the electronic media with relevant national and international organizations, To set ethical broadcasting standards, abolishing the broadcasting of vulgar language on air, broadcasting obscenity, and invasion of people's privacy. To solve, in consultation with the Media Council on disputes between the operators, broadcasting stations, and the public. Then to advise government on all matters relating to broadcasting policy, and also finally to carry out any other functions that is to any foregoing functions. We will take some time and look at the minimum broadcasting standards. Under the Broadcasting Council, a broadcaster and video operator shall ensure the following: that any program which is broadcast is not against public morality, does not promote the culture of violence or ethical prejudice amongst the public, especially the children and the youth. In case of news broadcast, it is free from distortion of facts. The news is not likely to create public insecurity or violence. It is in compliance with the existing law. That the program broadcast are balanced to ensure harmony in such programs. That adult-oriented programs are appropriately scheduled. That where a program that broadcasts is in respect to a contender, in public respect, then each contender is given equal opportunity in such a program. Well, that marks the end of the program of Chapter 2. Catch me again in our next YouTube broadcast, in which we will handle Chapter 3, in which our focus shall dwell mainly on the professional code of ethics in journalism, occupation in the media industry, and quite a number, as you will find it relevant. Now, if you've not subscribed to our channel, please do. If you've not shared it, share it with a friend, share it with another group, and I know God will do us well.